20th century had lots of advances in technology, culture, and fashion. But Europe decided to have a war. The war was caused by the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, but there were a lot of things leading up to the war. The British ruled the seas with their supreme navy, and Germany was building its own navy to counteract it. Countries were making alliances with each other. Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy formed the Triple Alliance, while France, Britain, and Russia formed the Triple Entente. When Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, Austria-Hungary, which is backed by Germany, declared war on Serbia. Serbia was backed by Russia, and Russia had ties to France. When trench warfare started on the Western Front, there were trenches running all the way from the coast to Switzerland. Both sides had a trench with no man's land in between. If one side wanted to overrun a trench, they would run across no man's land while the opposing side mows them down with machine gun fire. The attacking side would either give up or overrun the opposing trench. Most trenches were in the stalemate for most of the war. There was stalemate on the Western Front, and since the Allies had more men and supplies than the Germans did, the Germans knew they were going to have to break the stalemate on the Western Front. Before the war, there was a conference. This set out the rules of warfare. You were not allowed to kill civilians, and you weren't allowed to use chemical weapons. The Germans decided to break these rules. German submarines started to sink civilian ships. German aircraft started to bomb British cities. And Germans would use chemicals to overthrow trenches. All of this was in complete violation of the rules. The main chemical weapon that the Germans used was chlorine gas. Chlorine gas was reported to smell like pineapple and pepper. At first, when the Germans used this gas, the French soldiers thought that the gas was just smoke grenades designed to just impair their vision. But soldiers reported feeling pain in their lungs and chests. In World War I, the Germans used a weapon called Zeppelin to bomb British cities. Zeppelin is a blimp that the Germans used to bomb places. Zeppelin was developed in World War I, but didn't do too well, and a lot of them were destroyed because they were such easy targets. After World War I, Zeppelin was used as a civilian way of transport. Dreadnoughts were a battleship that was developed in World War I. Dreadnoughts were very expensive to build though, so neither side wanted to lose dreadnoughts in a battle. They only had one battle using the dreadnoughts, but a lot of ships got damaged, so they didn't have another battle with those.
Go.
Tanks were another weapon initially developed by the British that was used in World War I. Tanks were very slow and unreliable, so at first, the British didn't use them that much. The Germans also developed their own tanks. As each side started to improve the quality of their tanks were used more and more. In conclusion, World War I was a human catastrophe with 17 million lives lost. However, in World War I, there were broad advances in technology and innovation. There was especially huge progress in weaponry technology.